2026 isn't just another year for new releases. It's shaping up to be a turning point. Massive titles, bold new ideas, and long-awaited projects are all lining up to take over the conversation. These are the games everyone will be playing and talking about in 2026.
But we were not prepared.
Grand Theft Auto 6 is shaping up to be one of the biggest game releases of 2026, and the hype around it is massive for a reason. The world looks huge and immersive, promising a map filled with life, detail, and stories waiting to be discovered. Gameplay appears to build on everything that worked in previous games, while adding new systems that expand freedom and choice. Driving, shooting, stealth, and exploration all feel smoother and more responsive, with mechanics designed to keep you in control without losing the thrill. Grand Theft Auto 6 carries so much attention because it feels like a true evolution of the series, bigger, smarter, and more alive. If expectations are anything to go by, this is one title that could easily define gaming in 2026. OD feels mysterious right from the start. Very little is explained, and that uncertainty is part of its identity. Early reveals focus more on mood than gameplay, hinting at a psychological horror experience that plays with fear, perception, and the unknown, rather than traditional monsters or action. Gameplay details are still being kept quiet, but the idea seems centered on tension and mental pressure instead of combat. The experience is expected to rely heavily on atmosphere, sound, and player reaction, making you feel uneasy even when nothing obvious is happening. OD stands out in the 2026 lineup because it doesn't try to explain itself up front. Instead, it leans into mystery and trust, suggesting an experience that people will talk about long after playing.
Death's always waiting. Just not for me. Because I ain't no hero.
Marvel's Wolverine puts you in the claws of one of the most iconic heroes in pop culture, Wolverine. The story leans into Logan's brutal past and fierce instincts, promising an emotional narrative that reflects his struggle between rage, loyalty, and identity. Early hints suggest a focus on character depth rather than just spectacle, giving the world a grounded tone that's rare for superhero games. Gameplay is expected to emphasize Wolverine's signature combat style: fast, brutal, and visceral. Slicing through enemies with claws, regenerating health, and using raw power feels central. But the challenge doesn't come only from strength. Marvel's Wolverine has huge expectations because it promises a narrative focus and combat experience that feels true to the character. If it delivers on those ideas, this could easily be one of the standout games defining 2026's lineup. The Sinking City 2 feels uneasy the moment you step into its world. The foggy streets, damaged buildings, and quiet surroundings make the city feel wrong in a subtle way. It doesn't rush to scare you, but instead builds a constant sense of discomfort as you move through the environment. Gameplay leans more towards survival and caution than action. You can't rely on combat to solve every problem. Resources are limited, enemies are dangerous, and making the wrong choice can quickly put you in trouble. Knowing when to fight and when to avoid danger becomes an important part of staying alive. The Sinking City 2 aims to scare you slowly. By focusing on atmosphere, mystery, and pressure instead of constant action, it offers a horror experience that feels heavy and unsettling, especially the longer you spend inside its world.
Contact with anybody that may appear abnormal. Your safety in this new world is our absolute priority.
Nioh 3 looks fast and stylish at first. The smooth animations, sharp weapons, and flashy enemies make it feel like a game where confidence and quick reactions will carry you through. Early fights can even feel manageable, giving you a false sense of control. Gameplay quickly shows how demanding it really is. Combat is built around timing, stance changes, and paying close attention to enemy moves. Button mashing doesn't work here. Every attack, block, and dodge has to be done on purpose. Boss fights push this even further, forcing you to stay calm, learn patterns, and adjust instead of rushing in. Nioh 3 eases you in with style and speed, then slowly raises the bar until every mistake matters. It may look like a flashy action game at first, but it quickly proves that skill, patience, and discipline are the real keys to surviving.
To face evil, fear is not an option. Engraved in my mind are images that would make any man tremble. But I am not just any man.
The Occultist is shaping up to be a strong contender among new games coming in 2026. From what's been shown so far, it leans heavily into atmosphere and mystery, creating a world that feels focused and intentional. The setting looks dark and grounded, pulling players in with a slow build instead of flashy moments. Gameplay appears centered on exploration and investigation. Rather than constant combat, the game pushes you to observe your surroundings, solve puzzles, and uncover the story piece by piece. This approach gives it a clear identity and helps it stand out from more action-heavy releases. The Occultist has the kind of clear vision that can help a game rise above the noise. If it delivers on atmosphere, pacing, and story, it has real potential to be one of the standout releases that helps define gaming in 2026. Control Resonance looks like a bold step forward for the Control series as it heads into 2026. The world still feels strange and mysterious, but early looks suggest a stronger focus on narrative, powers, and mind-bending environments that keep players constantly guessing. Gameplay is expected to expand on the original's signature supernatural combat. Powers like telekinesis, shield bending, and airborne attacks likely get more depth, letting you experiment with moves instead of sticking to one strategy. Control Resonance has the kind of creative identity that could make it one of 2026's standout games. If it delivers on atmosphere, combat depth, and world design, it has real potential to dominate conversations and be a title people remember long after its release. Crisol. Theater of Idols looks like one of the more intriguing new games on the 2026 horizon. From early reveals, it leans into a vibrant world filled with music, character drama, and a deep narrative that centers around performance and identity rather than just combat. Gameplay seems to mix character interaction with rhythmic mechanics and storytelling. Instead of focusing on fast combat, it looks like Crisol pushes players toward exploration, choices, and moments tied to performance, possibly influencing relationships, world events, and the game's tone. Crisol. Theater of Idols has the kind of unique identity that could help it stand out in 2026. If it delivers on narrative depth, character focus, and world building, it has solid potential to become one of the memorable and talked about releases of the year.
Every secret you've hidden, every drop of blood you've spilled, a prize for the god you so love. But you know what they say, mi sol. Donde hay amor, hay dolor.
Code Vein 2 looks like a bold return to the post-apocalyptic, vampire-inspired world. From early reveals, it leans into stylish action with dramatic character designs, expressive weapons, and a world that feels dangerous but full of personality. Gameplay seems poised to expand on what made the first Code Vein stand out. Combat blends melee, ranged attacks, and unique abilities that let players create builds that fit their style. Instead of just button mashing, there's a rhythm to fights that rewards learning enemy behavior, positioning, and smart use of gear. Code Vein 2 has the kind of identity that could help it make a splash in 2026. If it delivers on combat depth, atmosphere, and character engagement, it has real potential to be one of the standout action RPGs of the year.
It's time I faced my past. Let's go. Today, you'll pay your dues!
You were dead.
Reanimal pulls players into a disturbing world that feels wrong from the moment you arrive. At first glance, quiet rooms and shadowy corridors make it seem calm, but the atmosphere quickly shifts into something tense and uneasy. Gameplay focuses on vulnerability and survival rather than action. You don't have powerful weapons or armor, just your instincts and limited tools. Every decision, whether to explore a dark hallway or hide in silence, feels risky. Reanimal doesn't rely on loud scares or endless monsters. Instead, it creates fear through atmosphere, anticipation, and uncertainty, making it a title that could stand out among other new 2026 releases with a deeper, more psychological approach to horror.
It won't make any difference at the end of the day. You know better than anyone else that no one could escape.
Everyone wears a mask! You too! This is a
Phantom Blade Zero looks bold and fast right from the first reveal. The world feels mysterious and charged, with fluid animation and sharp art that make it seem like a stylish action experience. At first glance, it gives off the vibe of quick, intense combat mixed with exploration, rather than slow pacing or downtime. Gameplay appears to focus on fast-paced action with tight controls and rapid movement. Instead of slow, methodical fights, encounters seem designed for speed and adaptability, pushing players to react quickly and chain skills together. Phantom Blade Zero has the kind of stylish identity that could help it stand out in the 2026 lineup. If it delivers on fast action, responsive combat, and engaging exploration, it has strong potential to become one of the more talked about new games of the year. Ill looks eerie right from the first glimpse. The visuals give off a creepy vibe, dim lighting, unsettling environments, and a world that feels just a little off. At first, it doesn't throw monsters at you non-stop, but the atmosphere alone makes it clear this isn't a place you want to explore casually. Gameplay appears focused on tension and vulnerability over loud action. Tools and weapons feel limited, encouraging players to think twice before moving forward. Every corner could hide danger, and even quiet moments can make you tense up, because the environment itself feels threatening. Ill has the kind of unsettling tone that could help it stand out in 2026's lineup. If it delivers on atmosphere, tension, and slow-burn horror, it has strong potential to become one of the most talked-about experiences of the year. .007 First Light gives off that classic spy vibe right from the start. From what's been revealed, the game puts you in the shoes of young James Bond, a version of .007 before he earned his license to kill. Gameplay looks built around stealth, gadgets, and choice. Instead of rushing into gunfights, you're encouraged to think like a spy. Sneak, plan your approach, and use tools smartly. Taking down guards silently, hacking systems, or creating distractions all seem like valuable options, giving players a sense of strategic freedom rather than pure action. .007 First Light has the kind of style that could help it stand out in 2026. If it lives up to its stealth promise and delivers smart mission design with strong narrative moments, it has potential to become one of the standout action spy games of the year.
Tell me, what do you do, James?
Lately, headhunting.
suppose this is another teachable moment.
I don't know. How?
I am life. I am death. I am everything in between. I have been watching your little valley. Pestilence, famine, killing. Blood spilled carelessly, like water. Things will be different now. For all of you.
Blood of Dawnwalker sets a dark and dramatic tone from the moment you first see it. The world feels rough and worn, as if every corner hides a threat or secret, creating a mood that leans into tension and intrigue rather than pure spectacle. Gameplay appears to balance action with strategy. Fast moves and powerful abilities are part of the package, but smart positioning and timing look just as important. You don't just push buttons and win. Every encounter seems designed to make you think about when to strike and when to hold back, giving fights a weightier and more meaningful feel. Blood of Dawnwalker has the kind of atmospheric identity that could help it stand out among new games in 2026. If it delivers on tension, combat depth, and world design, it has solid potential to become one of the memorable releases of the year. What we've seen, the game leans heavily into atmosphere and unanswered questions rather than loud action. The sci-fi setting feels lonely and unsettling, giving the sense that something went very wrong long before you arrived. Gameplay appears to mix exploration, problem-solving, and controlled combat. Instead of constant fighting, the game seems to encourage players to slow down, observe their surroundings, and think before acting. Pragmata stands out because it doesn't try to explain everything up front. Its mix of mystery, sci-fi themes, and careful pacing could make it one of those games people keep talking about in 2026, especially if it delivers on its atmosphere and ideas.
Targets identified. Neutralizing threats.
Neutralize? Us?
Looks like we're gonna have to fight our way through. What the?
Bypassing first and second firewalls, hooking control protocols. Initiating hack!
Hey, D.I.
I said I am D.I.
Okay. Look, how about we call you Diana?
Diana?
High on Life 2 drops players back into its wild sci-fi world with the same offbeat humor and chaotic energy fans love. Right from the start, it feels loud, quirky, and unpredictable, like stepping into a cartoon that's constantly surprising you. Gameplay leans hard into its unique style of combat. Guns aren't just weapons, they talk, joke, and respond to you, giving fights personality beyond just shooting. Combat still moves fast, but there are also moments where smart choices, positioning, and awareness matter just as much as reflexes, especially when enemy numbers spike or the environment shifts. High on Life 2 has the kind of personality that could help it stand out in 2026's lineup. If it delivers on humor, imaginative worlds, and fun combat loops, it's easily one of the new games players will keep talking about. Not just because it's funny, but because it feels fresh and entertaining through and through. Crimson Desert throws players into a huge, gritty world that feels more alive and detailed than most open-world games. From early looks, the setting leans into rugged landscapes, bustling cities, and wilderness that feels dangerous and unpredictable. Gameplay appears to mix action combat with RPG depth. Swords, skills, and strategic choices seem to matter more than just mashing buttons, and encounters with enemies look like they require awareness and planning. Instead of simple battles, fights feel like mini-events that test how you move, dodge, and attack. Crimson Desert has the kind of scale and ambition that could help it dominate conversations in 2026. If it delivers on world depth, meaningful combat, and strong narrative moments, it has real potential to be one of the year's most talked about open-world RPG experiences.
In the end, all will come together as one. We fight for the future of all. Sound the horn of our final battle! Fight! Fight for Pywell!
Your fight is not for revenge, nor glory, nor pride.
This is your hell!
Remember who you are, and let it guide your path. For at the end of it, you will find the answers you seek.
Fable brings back its fantasy world with a lighter tone that feels playful instead of serious. From the humor to the colorful environments, everything points to a game that wants you to have fun exploring, not just chase objectives. The world feels alive, weird, and full of personality right from the start. Gameplay seems built around freedom and choice. Combat, decisions, and interactions all shape who your character becomes over time. Instead of locking you into one role, the game encourages you to experiment, mess up, and see how the world reacts. Fable feels positioned as a game that could stand out simply by being different. In a year full of dark and heavy titles, its charm, humor, and sense of freedom could be exactly why people remember it as one of the defining games of 2026.
How can I help you, boss?
Fancy a date?
Very impressive.
Tomb Raider: Legacy of Atlantis opens a new chapter for Lara Croft with a strong sense of mystery and scale. The idea of exploring lost civilizations and sunken ruins gives the adventure a classic Tomb Raider feel, but with a fresher and more ambitious tone. Gameplay appears to focus heavily on movement and problem-solving. Climbing ancient structures, navigating underwater areas, and solving environmental puzzles look just as important as combat. Lara's mobility feels smooth and intentional, making traversal part of the challenge instead of just a way to move between fights. What could make Legacy of Atlantis memorable is how it leans into pure adventure. In a crowded 2026 lineup, a game that prioritizes discovery, atmosphere, and classic exploration may be exactly what pulls players in and keeps them talking long after release.
Welcome. Dr. Gideon has been expecting you.
You there, Leon?
Yeah. Hey, over here. FBI. What are you doing here?
Would you like to see what's hidden under the hood?
Don't do anything stupid.
Me? Never.
Resident Evil Requiem is shaping up to be a darker and more story-focused entry in the series. This time, the game introduces Grace Ashcroft, an FBI analyst pulled into a disturbing case that slowly turns personal. From the start, the tone feels heavy and tense, leaning more toward fear and mystery than pure action. Gameplay leans into survival tension rather than non-stop action. Grace's sections focus on careful movement, limited resources, and hiding from relentless threats, while other parts offer action-oriented combat that still feels dangerous and intense. Resident Evil Requiem also brings back Leon S. Kennedy, tying the new story to the series' legacy. With a fresh main character, a returning icon, and a stronger focus on atmosphere, this feels like a title that could stand out as one of the defining horror games of 2026.